Okay, let's talk about writing the evaluation part of this analysis essay. So remember, we're calling this an analysis essay. Other ways to describe this: critique essay, a review essay, a response essay. It's all basically the same thing. And we're working with Program for Love. Now, the first part of any good response essay or analysis essay, if you will, is a good summary, and hopefully you've already taken care of that with from last week. This week, let's focus on writing the evaluation. He's back. I want you to view this space as your space. This is for your opinion, all right? And I do really prefer that you use the first person pronoun here, the I, the me, I think, in my view, in my opinion, when I read this, my thoughts are, okay? Because that signals to your reader that you're moving away from summarizing what someone else said and bringing in your own voice, all right? And when we bring in our voice, we use the first person pronoun. That is a fake rule, if you will. It's just a very, very entrenched rule in college writing, but it really is not a good rule. If I took, you know, all of these books and I put them out on the table, 4 out of the 5 are going to be using, or 3 out of the 5 are going to be using the I, me, the my, somewhere in here. So why in the world would I tell you not to use it? Okay, whatever works in professional writing, in real life publication, that's what you can do. All right. Now you might run into a professor that has very strong opinions about this, and you probably won't win that argument. So just give them what they want you to give them. But the fact of the matter is, it's perfectly fine to use the first person pronoun in analysis, in research writing. Okay. Now I think that professors or teachers of writing that ask you to not do that, what they're trying to eliminate is a student that is trapped in sort of writing a subjective experience of the text, a subjective opinion. In other words, there are 2 types of opinions, aren't there? At least 2. I mean, I'm talking about the personal opinion where it's like, hey, this is the type of movie I like. This is the type of food I like to eat. This is how I like to spend my time. These are my hobbies. This is the sport I like best to play or best to watch. And, these are personal decisions I've made. And, they're really based on taste. That's very important to me, but, that's what I want to do. And you do what you want to do right now. That sort of opinion, that sort of subjective experience, if you will, is very personal. And there's no way that someone can say, well, you're wrong. That's really not the best sport for you. It's something because, that's just, what you enjoy, what you like to do. So it's very hard to get trapped into personal opinions that are really based on taste if you can't use the I, me, my. It's very hard to talk about that. However, let me just say, it's easy enough to understand that you really should be using the second type of opinion here, okay? You can't prove this stuff. This is not math. Someone might look at your critique and actually disagree with it, but you should be basing your opinion on publicly held values and beliefs, that guide the way our culture works. And these are publicly held. I mean, in other words, you have the right to say, if you don't think this way, well, you're wrong. Because look at how our Constitution is written, or look at how our laws are upheld, or look at how we run this institution. Look at our bylaws. Look at just common sense. So if you are trying to, for example, run a business, there are best practices out there, right? And can you prove it with math? Probably not, but I think that I could say it's wrong for anybody to take all the profit that they're running from a legitimate business and then just burn it up outside in a bonfire. That's not how you, that's just dumb, isn't it? And it's dumb for everybody. So, there are, things based on definition, on logic, on common sense, on accepted values and beliefs of a culture. You can bring all that into play and say, look, it's really not right for a human being to turn to a machine for human needs. Here's why. and you can explain your opinion. And you can hold it very strongly, and you can expect others to believe. You have the right to say, this is a public belief. This is how this is how we all should treat this. Okay. Now, it's good to be tolerant to the people that hold differing views from you, but there's no sense at all being accepting of the contradiction. I mean, I don't care how tolerant you are with someone. If they say that you can have a round circle, I mean, that's never right. You see what I'm saying? That 2 + 2 is 5. That's just not. You can be kind to the person and yet react with integrity to the propositional structure, the logic or illogic or truth or falsity of what they're saying. Okay, so bring your opinion in here, but this is not opinion based on personal taste. This is opinion you believe really is what a democracy is about, or what a civitas is about. Aristotle's city. What it means to be part of the human race. What it means to be human. These are things we believe. We all believe. And that's what you should build your evaluation on. Now, when you look at the piece of writing and then you respond to things like, well, sometimes students think, I need to say what I agree with, and I need to say what I disagree with. Yes, that's true. I mean, but we need to complicate it a little bit more. In other words, I don't want you just to say, well, I agree, and that's it. At the end of the day, you have 3 sentences. No, if you agree, explain maybe how it can be applied as another example in another arena, or how maybe it's this essay is a bit dated. Maybe show how this is holding up now, right? How culture has shown, or society has shown, that actually we are leaning more towards this view. So you can expand, you can apply, those truths that you believe are there in the essay. Maybe you feel like they were good, but they failed to really define something. So you can provide a definition. You can make it better that way. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you come up with a great metaphor or a great example that would have made that part of the essay stronger. The article. Write that in your evaluation. And that's how you can agree without just saying, I agree, and I agree. Now, if you disagree, explain why. Try to pinpoint exactly where the problem area is, and sure, you can disagree as well. You can agree with some, disagree with some, or whatever. And so just explore those different areas of how to produce an evaluation. And just remember that this is the I say space. The summary is that they said. Now, this is where I believe, I think. After thinking through these issues, I've reached the conclusion that, for some people, based on an American ethic of property, it's okay for them to say that they want this type of relationship. Hey, I just introduced the phrase, the American ethic of property. Maybe I need a couple sentences explaining what that is. Now my evaluation gets bigger and bigger. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. And for this week's work, all you are doing is writing the evaluation. So pretty soon, after you do this week's work, we'll take the previous week with this week, we'll put the two together, and you'll have a critique you can stitch together and iron out and smooth out and have a really nice analysis essay.